Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Listen, I found a video that I shot in 2023 of myself and someone that I've been friends with for many years. We met when I was in sales. I used to sell window siding and roofing here in the Midwest. There's a lot of gems in this conversation. If you think that something was said in this conversation that helps you after you viewed it, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell and leave me a comment. But it is a lot to be learned in this conversation. Here we go. Hey, what's up, good people? This is Larry Jones. Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell if you're new. I have a friend here with me. His name is Ron Lewis. We've been friends for 25 years, and I just want to talk about generational wealth. I want to talk to poor black people, and I want to talk to poor white people, which is a lot of people if you tell the truth. If you're making under $50,000 a year, then you're close to poor. If you're making $30,000 a year, you are poor with today's inflation, okay? So this is Ron Lewis, my friend. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Ron. I've been Larry's buddy for years, and we've worked together, and now we become really good friends.
We've been good friends for over 25 years, and I will tell you that Ron is a business owner. Ron, as you could see, it looks a little different than me, just a little bit. But one of the things that I will tell you, and I'm talking to everybody that's black, and I want you to represent the white folk,
okay,
and I'm gonna represent the black folk. All right, because we need to have these conversations.
Well, maybe it would be better if
you represent the black folk and I represent the white folk. See, the reason why I asked him to come here is because, listen. So you look at him right now, right? He came up with a silver spoon, right? I came up 9 people in the house. I had 7 brothers, 2 sisters, an 11 square foot house. With 1,100 square foot house, not 11, 1,100 square foot house, right? With 1 bathroom on the west side of Chicago. It was tough. My dad was a hardworking man, worked all of the time. There were plenty hard times, plenty seasons where there were times where we didn't have, there was always that we not going to have anything for Christmas, and my dad would just go out and get a job and make it happen. Ron, how did you come up?
Very similar. There were 9 of us as well. There were 5 boys, 4 girls, and my mom and dad, and we lived in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house on the border of Gary in a city called Lake Station, and 1 street away from Gary, yeah. And it was approximately 1,500 square feet.
And you told me that there were periods, because your dad worked for the steel mill, you was telling me that there was periods where he'd be laid off, where he was looking for side jobs just to make ends meet. Talking to the mic there. Yep.
I remember as a young man when they went on strike one time where my dad took a job with the garbage disposal company, and I would see him picking up garbage, working on the back of a truck, picking up garbage while the strike was going on, because he did what he had to do to provide for his family.
Right. So in essence, we came up kind of exactly alike, right? I've been to the house. It was a humble house, right? And he literally 1 block from Gary, right? A lot of people, if you drive through there, you would think it's Gary, right? So the reason why I asked Ron to be here is I want everybody that looks like me to understand that Ron is not your problem. And I want everybody that looks like Ron to understand that Larry is not your problem. Whether you come up in the ghettos of whatever city you are, whether you come up in the hood, or whether you come up in hardworking towns, coal mines, trailer homes, or whatever, if you're struggling, what I'm going to say in the next few minutes is going to help you, right? But it goes beyond that. Even if you're middle class America, I want you to know that you're an endangered species that middle class America is shrinking and more people are leaving middle class and going to poor. I'm also going to tell you that the pie is not cut up evenly. The pie is cut up 95% versus 5%. And the top 5% own the companies of the goods and services that we consume and buy, right? But we make them wealthy because all we do is consume the goods and services that they provide.
Well, I was the individual that went to college and then didn't finish. So I come out of college. I went there to play football. I didn't go there to get an education. I wanted to play football. Blew my knee out, so my career was done. So I get out of college, and now I've got to get into the workforce. Okay, so I started working in construction, doing windows and siding. Okay. And then eventually I got some knowledge, and I became a manager of a home improvement company.
Get a little closer to that
installation manager.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I did for approximately 8 years. And I learned the industry, and I worked like a madman, working 60 hours a week, building a business for an individual. And he was a multimillionaire. And eventually then I wanted to do my own thing, and I started installing. Then I left and I started an installation company, just installing for the big box stores, just installing windows and doors. If you ordered from Home Depot or Lowe's, I was putting them in, me and my installers. Okay. And still, I was just getting a percentage of a labor bill, still having to do physical work on a daily basis. And I always thought about what I'd learned from that individual that I was working for. And then I knew that people buy from who they like, trust, and respect.
Right.
So I got an opportunity to in Valparaiso, Indiana, on Lincoln Way, to do a 70 window job. And I earned her confidence, and she gave me the money down to get the product. And I did the job, and I made $27,000 profit.
Can I ask you this? Did you go on a $27,000 vacation with that?
Absolutely not.
Did you go on a $27,000 shopping spree?
Nope.
Get a new car, a new whip with that $27,000?
Nope.
What did you do with it?
I started Premier Windows.
There you go.
I started my business with that money. And now, was it always, a box of chocolates? Obviously not. There were instances when I first started that I was waiting for jobs to finish and checks come in to pay my bills. But I continued to be persistent, and I surrounded myself by people that were smarter than me and that worked hard just like I did and had the same common goal.
Yeah.
And we worked hard together, and we just continued to work hard and built the business.
Well, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of lessons in that for those of you that are new. Number one, it takes money to make money. Okay? You could take a pen and write some of this stuff down if you never heard anything like this. It takes money to make money, right? And you say, yeah, it takes money to make money. I ain't got it. I'm sorry for you school teachers. I don't have it. I ain't got it. All right? So he took the money that he made, but he went outside his normal job and did something. You guys know I've been challenging you guys to create side hustles, right? Create a side hustle so you can have extra money to invest. 2 ways I know how to make money. 2 ways I know that just about anybody can make money. That's in real estate and investing. And the lowest hanging fruit out of those 2 is investing, because people always ask, how much money do I need to invest? I always ask, how much do you have, right? If you got $20, you can start investing. If you got $5, you can start investing. How can I buy $5 worth of stock? Tesla's over $100. So how can I get it? There's something called fractional shares. You can literally buy them with your phone. The average American makes a little over $50,000 a year right now, according to the census, right? $50,000 a year. The truth of the matter is that the average American should be investing a minimum of 10%. So What you need to do right now, whoever you are listening to me, is you should take 10% of your money before you pay any bill. Pay yourself first. Putting your money in the bank is not paying yourself. Remember, if your money is not working for you, then you will work for your money for the rest of your life. Now, it's easy. Everyone should start with a general ETF. Then you learn the right stock to get into. But you can literally buy the entire stock market with ticker symbol VTI, or you can buy the top 500 companies, ticker symbol VOO, and you can literally buy $5 a day, the price of a cup of coffee. Ron, you're the one that I got the 24 hours a day concept, the 8 hours a day. Yeah. All right. You guys have heard me talk about it on this page. Remember, I talked about time. And when you're working on your job, they are paying you for two things, your time and your talent. That's what your employer is paying you for. Ron, I want you to tell them about the 24-hour concept, because this is very powerful.
So we're all aware that our bodies require us to sleep. And so if you think about it, you essentially sleep 1/3 of your life away, right? On average, you sleep 8 hours a day. That's 1/3 of your life you spend sleeping. Okay. Then society wants you to work 8 hours a day on average. So now another third of your life is working. So now you have essentially 1/3 of your life to do what you want. And that is the difference maker. That is where you think about where I started, where I'm at, and where I want to be.
So what are you doing with your 8 hours, right? Remember, you sleeping 8 hours away and you're working 8 hours away. What are you doing with your 8 hours? The truth of the matter is, most people walk the face of this earth and they are watching cat videos. They are talking about Steve Harvey and Marjorie. They are consuming, housewives of this, housewives of Atlanta, hip hop, or whatever TV shows, or watching soap operas or whatever. And you turn around and 30 years of your life is gone. 60 years of your life is gone. 70 years of your life is gone, and you never did anything with that 8 hours. That is the power of that. I got that from Ron. Ron is the one that used to talk about that 24 hours. You guys have heard me talk about it. Think about that. I want you to leave me in the comments. What are you doing with your 8 hours? Because I challenge you, the creativity, what will change your life is in that 8 hours. Now, here's one of the things that I would say that people can do for one of those hours. Believe it or not, you can create a side hustle. My challenge to you, create a side hustle for 1 hour. I've said this before. I want you to Google Fiverr, Fiverr, Fiverr. They will pay you for anything. Then I want you to see what your gift is. No two people have the same DNA. No two people have the same fingerprint, right? God created everyone that's listening to me with a unique gift. So just remember this. When they say do what you're passionate about and you'll never work another day in your life, that's a lie. Do what people will pay you for and become passionate about that. All you got to do is find your tribe. Find the people that want what you have to offer and pay you for it. Ron did that with that job that paid. And now he is not wasting time now doing all of the other stuff, installing and doing all of this. He knows that his time is most valuable finding new customers. So that is my challenge to you. Find a side hustle, find that side hustle. And here's my other challenge. I dare you to invest it all. I want you to start with $5 a day and increase that to $10 a day. Because here's what'll blow most people's mind. You could live the same lifestyle, work the same job, and one person can retire with a 401k of averages about $300,000, right? Another person that working your same job is going to retire broke. We all know who they are. But you, even with a 401k, can invest and still retire with over $1 million in your personal investment. And these are some of the things that I want you to understand. If you have young people out there, if you got kids, make sure that they job one, day one, pay themselves first, and put it not in a savings account and not in a bank. Now, you should have money in a savings account. You should have a savings, and you should have money in your bank account. I'm talking about aside from that, put it in a broker where you can send your money to work and buy, again, fractional shares. Your challenge: if you go to Starbucks, then own a piece of the company of the goods and services that you consume daily. If you go to Starbucks, then buy Starbucks coffee. If you go to Walgreens, buy Walgreens stock. If you go to Starbucks, buy Starbucks stock. If you go to Walmart, Walmart stock. If you're listening to me on a cell phone, an Apple or Mac, Apple stock. Microsoft stock. Get it? Ron happens to know that I took myself, my wife, my 2 grown daughters, and my 4 grandkids to Disneyland, stayed there for a week in a 10,000 square foot house. And you know who paid for it? Ron, who paid for it?
Disney stock.
My Disney stock paid for the entire trip before I went. How? I learned a new skill. I learned how to do options. I did a Disney option and paid for the entire trip before I left. I'm telling you guys, make the companies pay for it by owning the companies. I dare you to get started right now. Do you have anything you want to say in closing?
Well, you bring up a valid point about making sure that you're accountable for your time. And we're all creatures of habit, and we both know how many days it takes to form a habit, right?
Yep. 21.
21 days to form a habit. So what we're asking, especially if you're a young adult, I think about my life now, and if I would have been as conscious in saving money when I was 25 as when I was 45, I would be financially free right now. I'd be emancipated.
Yes.
Financially emancipated. There's different steps of emancipation, and the lion's share of people never reach the financial step of emancipation, where you're not dependent on an employer or any type of institution to pay you to live, where you're financially free. And that's where I'm gonna be. And I've got a path to get there.
Yes.
Because of this man. Because for years, I was the worker bee. All I wanted to do was do what needed to be done today. Let's say, for instance, unload the window truck, right? That's what I would be doing as the president of the corporation. Well, that is good for today, but my strengths should have been where I was worried about getting new business for the future. And that's what I focused on now, and it's been life-changing to me personally and to my business.
Right.
That's why the business is where it is today.
Yes.
Is that you've taught me, Larry, I don't have to be the worker bee. I need to do CEO things.
Yes.
And that's been the biggest change in my business recently. And that's what's helped me, is realizing where I came from, and we talked about that earlier in the video.
Right.
Where I am, but now I have a path on where I'm going to be.
That's it.
I know that if I continue to do what I'm doing now, I will be emancipated. I will be financial free. I won't have to depend on, because I still have to depend on my company at this point to live. Okay. But I have the path now to be emancipated financially.
You have the 2 political parties, right? And then one lives in a box, and that's all they do is consume and blame this side, right? And then this one lives in a box, and that's all they do is complain and talk about the other side. There's some of you right now, you look and you see TV, the TV will cut on, and you'll see somebody that look like me. Like, not right now, you'll follow me, I'm fine. But when you see somebody look like me in the street, you go, right? And the same thing with black people towards white people. You go, right? And I'm telling you, it's the media that is feeding us this garbage. Anybody that looks like him or looks like me, when you go to work tomorrow, I want you to understand that the person you're working with that don't look like you is not your problem. So quit letting the media feed you this garbage, right? Whether you listen to one media, whether you voted for Biden or whether you voted for Trump, okay? It doesn't matter who you voted for. I'm telling you that the media that we listen to, the TV that we listen to, and even the radio that we listen to is programming us to fight one another when the serious issue is the people, the very people that we voted for is putting us in this mess. I'm telling you, poor white people, poor black people, it's not your fault. Some of you guys just got spending habits. It's your fault. But for the most of you, it's not. Your schools are teaching you how to be good factory workers. That's it. The difference in a $50,000 check and a $150,000 check is simply the size of your house and your car and your bills. You're still 3 paychecks away from being broke, right? And so I'm telling you, get a hold of your finances now and start now. Because remember, middle class shrinking, lower class increasing. But the fact of the matter is every recession, every COVID, you name it, the rich literally get richer while you're suffering. So one of these days, you're going to wake up, like I live in Chicago. I'm going to ask you this. You grew up a block away from Gary, 1 block away from Gary. Mm-hmm. I want you to tell me, and we haven't discussed this, when you drive around, so there's some nice houses in Valparaiso, Indiana. There's some nice houses in Sherrville. But when you go to certain parts of Gary, not all of Gary, because there's some beautiful parts of Gary, believe it or not, for those of you that never been there. When you drive to the poorest parts of the poorest neighborhoods, does the gas cost more or less in the poor neighborhoods?
More,
right?
Yeah.
Considerably more, right? I said that because I see the same thing in in Chicago. I see the same thing all over the country. I'm telling you guys that these jokers that you are voting for are the ones that got you in the hole. You're paying more for gas, a gallon of milk, heat and cool your house, for baby milk, for your bare necessities. You are paying more, and it's done by the people that are sitting to you, smiling in your face and lying to you. All right. And I don't care if I get flagged. So what I want you to do is wake up, America, and understand that this is all a game by design. They want us fighting each other, right? And the truth be told, he came up just like I did, just on the other side of town. Same way. He's struggling just like I'm struggling. And then we sitting here arguing, it's you, because we watching this media. So I want to tell poor white folk, I want to tell poor black folk, I want to tell middle class America, white and black, that it's time to wake up, cut off the TV, and get your houses in order, right? Because at the end of the day, if you follow these simple steps, understand compounded interest, you literally can retire living off the same paycheck with somebody that's standing beside you. You can retire with 4 times the money. So I'm going to leave a video in this box that's going to come, and it's going to show you the power of compounded interest. All right, step by step. I want you to watch that. Also, I have some links in the description below. Just tap on the title of this video, and I have some links of more products that will help you to invest and show you how to create generational wealth. Anything you want to say in closing?
Well, it just makes me think about the old saying that the way you think affects the way you feel, and the way you feel affects the way you act. So it's all in positive thinking. Think about the 1/3 of your life that you have to do what you want, and where do you want to go from where you're at now? that's when my life changed, when I started to think about what the future held for me. And I started doing CEO things instead of just physically. I thought that I was going to be able to work my whole life, and just doing physical work was going to get me where I was going to be. The physical work is not always the answer. It's sometimes doing the CEO things, thinking about where you're at now, but where you want to be. Remember, the way you think affects the way you feel, and the way you feel affects the way you act.
Make your time count. Remember, 8 hours is yours. What are you doing with it? Live, love, laugh, and learn.